Despite what you might have heard, Electronic Arts is actually one of the greatest game companies of all time. It represents the little guy in the world of gaming companies, one of the last bastions standing in the way of Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo, owning all consumers' favorite franchises. From its humble beginnings in the imagination of young Apple developer Trip Hawkins to being one of the established greats in the world of AAA games, EA is actually one of the companies that listens to its customers. And if it made any mistakes in the past, steps have always been taken to address those issues. EA has single-handedly shaped the gaming industry through innovation like no other developer. Even though gamers hate innovation and criticize every new thing a company comes up with, EA kept pushing the envelope. As an example, people love to play online with their friends, and so they were one of the first companies that thought it would be cool to make an MMO out of their city builder, SimCity. And of course, gamers hated that opportunity, saying that it would be unreasonable to require them to be always online. Come on, you're always online anyways. If you want to pirate the game or you like to play SimCity 15 stories underground deep in the sewers of Chicago, then you're just not the target audience. Furthermore, EA loves competition. That's why EA makes so many great sports and PvP games. And EA is one of the only game developers that's happy to give back to the community. Even happily paid their fines for breaking antitrust laws for signing anti-competitive licensing contracts. But I think we all know that's a laughable ruling in today's economy. Because competition is bad. People should collaborate more. For example, we all know that NCAA college athletes are paid a pretty penny but lack any sort of exposure. And even though EA wanted to give them basically free clout by including their likenesses in games, EA decided to go above and beyond and even paid all 200,000 athletes. EA is also one of the only industry giants that always scouts for new IPs and smaller studios that they can boost so they finally have the resources to take their games to the next level. And when these game studios are integrated and all the talent behind it all gets significant raises and they fail to produce the AAA standard that is required from a large studio, like shorter production times and more streamlined products, it's not really EA's fault if those people can't handle EA's work ethic. But in the end, consumers will always blame EA. Crunch time is the gold standard of the gaming industry. EA's mantra is don't hate the player, hate the game. So when people criticize EA for crunch, they fail to see the options available for EA employees in comparison to other companies. When EA employees had to work from 9 AM to 10 PM 7 days a week for a couple of months, EA would give them off from 6 PM Saturday evenings if they were well behaved to be able to spend time with their families. What other game developer can say that about themselves? To make up for the crunch time, EA even paid out about $30 million in bonuses to their employees. Can you imagine being that lucky as an employee? But to make sure that every employee was happy, EA even offered employees to switch to an hourly rate contract, so they even got paid for their overtime, for which they only had to give up their company's stock options. And even though everyone was happy after these decisions according to internal surveys, EA has completely moved on from crunch culture for their newer releases. What a pleasant surprise. And people love to be surprised. And giving out rewards in a randomized fashion has scientifically been proven to be the thing that humans enjoy the most. There are whole cities built upon surprise mechanics, and EA was one of the first gaming companies to recognize that. Adding loot boxes to games was a stroke of genius. Not only did it catapult yearly earnings up by a magnitude, but people also tend to vote with their wallets. It gave a strong indication that that is ultimately what every gamer always wanted. And so EA made sure to cut all funding on all the products that were undesired, like RPGs, story-driven or strategy games, or anything that you have to play alone. Nobody wants to be lonely. Furthermore, by adding loot boxes that enable pay-to-win strategies, EA again went above and beyond to not only revolutionize gaming, but to do more for society than any motivational speaker or self-improvement guru in the last 50 years. Think about it for a second. If you really want to excel at a game and you have to pay real money to do so, it gives you a genuine incentive to actually go outside, hustle and grind in real life, to make more money to be able to spend it to progress in games, or to skip waiting times, which is time you can use to hustle for even more sense of pride and accomplishment. I haven't found any service yet, but I'm willing to bet that people who play EA games have some of the highest social mobility of any demographic. Don't believe me? Go find the survey. I'm waiting. And if you're only 11 years old and you can't afford to pay, it incentivizes you to start side hustles outside of school, learn about credit card debts at a young age, financial literacy is important, or to grow up faster. And if you can't do that, EA's mantra is don't hate the game, hate the player instead. And generally, people love to be reminded of their favorite childhood memories. And so EA tried to capture that, making games feel like chores. Everybody loved chores. They taught you about responsibility and care for your environment. And if you don't like doing chores, you can do exactly what you did as a child. You can throw a fit or pay your dad $50 to do it for you. And let's not forget, EA is an award-winning company, which according to independent polls is not as hated as people think they are. Businesses like the Weinstein Company or Monsanto are way more hated, if you look at the data upside down. And if this hasn't piqued your interest to become a new head of PR, let me give you a tour of our company. And over there we have R&D, and who's that? That? Oh, that's Frank, head of HR. Hey, Frank. Yeah. Anyways, these are our in-house departments. And this is where we have our low-level developers. These guys are so lazy. Sometimes they need a little reminder to work harder. Why are you making whip noises? I love my job. Were you ever unable to finish a game on time? No, always on time, and we even gave players free updates. All updates were free? No, we had day one DLC, of course. All the patches and bug fixes were completely free of charge, though. We have a very distinguished history of making great games. We've acquired the best IPs and the best people to do the job. And because it's so profitable, we even have an entire division dedicated to Sims 4 expansions. Can you believe that? We call him Bob. We don't actually know his real name. He's so dedicated he hasn't slept in 7 years. 7 years, can you imagine that? Hey Bob, how's the IKEA shelf expansion coming along? Good, sir. But please don't hurt my family. And over here is the Sims 5 division. We at EA stand for player choice. We want them to choose how they want to invest in their happiness. Credit card, kidneys, PayPal, even in single-player games. Have you heard of Mass Effect? Did you know you could choose to blow up the universe in 3 different colors? Everybody loved being able to choose their ending. We had so much engagement on social media. Oh, and this is Fred. He filters our socials for hateful messages and constructive criticism. How are you doing, Fred? Alright. He begged us to remaster the Dead Space series. Can you imagine that? We had to look up what he meant with Dead Space. I've never heard of that. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah? How about we grab some lunch? Sure. Here's your soup, sir. Wait, where's my spoon? Oh yeah, next time I would recommend getting the definitive edition lunch. That one offers cutlery and a chair as well. Overall, a lot of value, I'd say. Can I still get it? No, only pre-orders, unfortunately. Oh, this is Mr. Might. He writes the soundtrack for our games. Yeah, he's not the talkative kind. We at EA also stand for innovation. And this is our EA Sports division. What's that machine doing? Oh, that's our money printer. Your what? Yeah, it reads out Wikipedia articles on player transfers between teams, updates our game files, and then customers throw cash at us. Money machine. Why does it say do not touch? We don't quite know how it works anymore. So we just kinda let it do its thing for the last 12 years. And that is your mascot? No, that's Mr. Boobang. He's in charge of the UI around here. Every year, we let him throw darts at this wall so we know which color to pick. This is the EA Sports Naming and Branding division. What year is next year? 2023? No, that's this year. What's the year after? And over here is the division that comes up with our own IPs. Are those blind squirrels? Yeah, isn't that great? We found that they're a lot more cost-effective and obedient than employees that are human. They were so good at their job that they're also in charge of quality control now. And finally, this is the end of our production line. This machine uses an advanced neural network algorithm that streamlines each title before release. Well, so, what do you say? Can I welcome you aboard the team? Or should I rather say into our family? We like to think of ourselves as a tight-knit... not again. Happy April Fools. Like, sub, hit unsuspecting bells, and if you want to support me and have your name be in my videos, do what these lovely people did and subscribe to my Patreon. Thank you all for watching. Have a lovely day.